resilience, or also known as stress and frustration tolerance level, SFT. Now what happens in today's world, you find people, and I am telling you from my own service, those who are with me in IES and IPS, etc., their children are doing, despite all the comforts, facilities, coaching, tuition, opportunities available, they do much less than those who are from middle and lower class, their children. क्या वजह है? आप बताएंगे? They say that the second generation of a successful person will not succeed, the third generation will succeed. Why does that happen? Because if a generation is there which is having all the facilities, all the comforts, the children were getting used to these comforts and facilities, their ability to handle stress or rejection is very poor. हर चीज तो मिल जाती है. मोबाइल चाहिए, मोबाइल मिल गया. कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट ज्वाइन कर दो, सबसे एक्सपेंसिव, वहां चले जाएंगे. ये चाहिए, गाड़ी चाहिए. When I was a student, I belonged to I can tell you, from a lower middle class family. I understood the value of resources, time, books, etc. at a very young age because my father lost my job. So I knew the value of these things. Time has to be utilized well. अगर सारी चीजें आराम से मिल जाती हैं, your stress and frustration tolerance level goes down. So to build up your resilience, failure is very, very important. Have you heard of the failures, the setbacks the President of USA, Mr. Biden, has gone through in his life? Any idea? The President Joe Biden, what failures or what setbacks he has had in life? Any idea? His wife died, the first wife. His children died when they were grown up in their 20s. He lost one son to cancer. He lost another son in an accident. So 2 or 3 of his children died when they were in their 20s or 30s. You can imagine how much of setback it would have been to him as a father. One of his children was caught in drugs issue also in a very big way. But he has overcome them, these setbacks in life, he has overcome them with resilience. Your ability to handle failure is very important. How you handle success is okay. Failure handling is very, very important. Next. Avoid fights. Control over emotions, part of emotional intelligence, is very important. Next. This is part of emotional thing. You should be conscious of your feelings and emotions. Being angry, being happy, being joyful, having resentment, having disappointment is part of life. Have to be conscious of them. What I am going through, what feeling I am going through is important. Awareness of them, and all these things come through a certain slant towards spirituality and meditation. I'll come to that a little later. Next. Pause. Listening is very important. Many problems in life arise because we don't listen. God has given us 2 ears and only 1 mouth. So taking a pause, taking a deep breath and listening to what the other person is saying is also integral to emotional intelligence. If you do not listen to what your friend or your colleague is saying, how will you be aware of his emotions and feelings, which is integral to emotional intelligence? Listening, taking a pause, keeping silent is also important. Next. Yes, that is very important. That is where I used to fail a lot, I must admit, about myself. I lose my temper on some stupidity and then I will, recollect. And my wife will tell me कि भाई गलती उसकी हुई थी, तुम क्यों गुस्सा कर रहे थे? Why were you punishing yourself? So you will have people of different types in your lives. After 5 उंगलियां तो बराबर नहीं रहती, सब अलग-अलग size की हैं. So you will have people who are very brilliant, with whom when you are working you are very comfortable. You have some people who will be dumb, but you have to handle them. You have to manage them if tomorrow you want to be a successful leader. You cannot expect to have all brilliant people in your team, that everybody is a Virat Kohli or a Sachin Tendulkar or Jasprit Bumrah. There will be players of different calibers and capabilities. And as a team leader, you have to take them together. You would have heard of MS Dhoni, Chennai Super King. What are the qualities? What all I told you before that? 1 year he gave CSK captaincy and the team came down. As long as MS Dhoni was heading Chennai Super Kings, it was winning the IPL, I think 3 times, 4 times. 5 times, 5 times. I stand corrected. He left it for 1 year, it was nowhere. And he came back again Chennai Super. Same team, same composition. Who has changed? The leader. And he knows, he understands the strengths and weaknesses of all his players. He knows all fingers are not same. In the last match, which he won the finals, he gave that ball. When the going on, the ball was given, he was having trust in his bowlers. Okay, the bowler may go for 1-6, 1-4. He still trusts his players. The other team, when the bowler was hit for 2-4s or something, the captain came and sort of advised him, told him something. That guy lost his nerve, he lost his confidence. That is very important. You have to understand this. As a leader, I am talking to you not as I'm not addressing, as I told you in the very beginning, I am not addressing first year students. I am addressing the future of this nation. I am addressing, as I told you, there are Kamala Harris, there are Banga, there is Sundaram Pichai, there is Satyam Nadella in this very crowd. I am addressing the leadership of this country and top companies, unicorns and heptacorns. Next. Yes. Sometimes you have to just vacate your mind. That is where spirituality and meditation comes. Meditation basically means trying to keep your mind empty of any type of thoughts. Just observing yourself, what I am going through. A stillness has to be there. Total silence has to be there. Otherwise, mind is like an uncontrolled horse. So develop this habit right from the beginning at this age itself of doing minimum 10 minutes of meditation where nothing should disturb your mind. Some stillness should be there. Next. Mind over emotions. Next. Narration. Have good stories. Stories means I am not saying that you should have false stories and myths. But try to develop the habit of having stories. A lot of people in the habit of writing what has happened the whole day in their diaries. Whatever you write in your diary, it's a good habit because it helps you to reflect upon the events of the whole day. क्या हुआ आज मेरे साथ, क्या अच्छा हुआ, क्या बुरा हुआ, किसने मेरे साथ क्या किया, what did something. That forms part of your stories. Next. Don't keep fighting, talk of issues which are important. बीजेपी पसंद है, केसीआर पसंद है, टीआरएस पसंद है, बीआरएस खराब है, आप खराब है, ये है, कॉम्युनल हो गया है. No. Avoid this. Have clear focus and avoid things which in any way, where your emotional intelligence, your intellect gets wasted. Next. This is very important. Patience and silence are two powerful energies. Patience makes you mentally strong, silence makes you emotionally strong. I told you the example of Thomas Alva Edison. More than 900 times he failed. He had patience. Next. Again, it is a matter of attitude. What you want to keep. I was, listening to Sri Ravi Shankar, Art of Living, in National Police Academy. He came 10 years back. He gave a very beautiful example. He said, when you go to a garden, when you see some beautiful flowers, what do? You break the twig and you take the flower, put it over here, or you keep it in your pocket. And you avoid the thorns. You don't want the thorns to come with that twig or the little stalk with the flower. You are only keeping the flower because of its beauty, because of its scent and perfume. And you are avoiding the thorns. Same thing should be there when you are talking of positive memories and negative memories. Somebody is appreciating you, praising you, you are happy momentarily. You are very happy, you are comfortable, but then you forget it. Somebody criticizes you, you remember it for 10 years. साले ने 10 साल ये बोला मेरे को, मैं इसको नहीं छोड़ूंगा. So just as when you go to a garden, you take a flower, you keep the flower and avoid the thorns. Forget the bad memories, the criticism, until unless you are learning something from them, and keep the flower of the good memories. Therefore, good memories should not be in pen drive. वहाँ गए थे, कैलकाटा गए, इधर गए, वहाँ की हम मदनापल्ली हॉर्सले हिल्स गए, उसकी फोटो तो हमने पेन ड्राइव में डाल दी, which we do not know when we are going to see again. And bad memories I am keeping in my mind. Keep those photographs of your visits to touristy place in your mind. Keep bad memories in the drive so that you are not becoming conscious of them. Next. If you are not able to please everybody, please don't hurt. Avoid hurting people. It is impossible for you to please everybody, but then it is within your capacity not to hurt people. That again is part of emotional intelligence. Avoid hurting people. Next. Again, it is about psychology. I can tell you many a time when it is raining, my PSO, my fellow will come, "Saab, umbrella." Arey yaar, all of you know, rainfall is the purest form of water, isn't it? You must have studied in your MSET exam. Rainfall is the purest form of water. Jara si barish shuru hoti hai, we stop looking for umbrella, going inside, enjoy it. You are not getting wet. You are feeling the rain. That is very important. Next. Stop worrying. Energy should be used to hope and believe. Have some belief. Next. As I told you, little things affect little men. Don't get upset over small things. That is very important. Again, you will be wasting your emotional energy. Next. I already told you that we do not listen to understand, we listen to reply. I take one side of the argument, the other person says another type of the argument, and we take very strong positions. We argue. I am correct. No. Communication is about listening to each other. That pause and silence which I talked about earlier. That's very important. Change management. You have to understand changes are taking place, particularly for you. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, all this coming, chat GPT. You have to constantly rediscover yourself and be update with the technology, procedures which are happening. Change is inevitable. The only thing constant in the world is change. It will keep happening. Next. Now I come to the virtues of hard work. I have talked about attitude, I have talked about resilience, I have talked about emotional intelligence. Now I come about hard work. You have seen how the ants, when they are working in groups, how powerful they are. They are able to really, you see, this is not an exaggeration. Next. In our job in IPS, we have to work as constables. We have to do sentry duty, we have to do overnight patrolling, we have to do every type of job. Whenever we go for a practical experience, right from the job of a home guard or a constable, head constable, ASI, we are made to do everything. Because till that time, you are aware of what is happening at the lowest level. You will not know their feelings, you will not know their hardships, their problems, what they undergo. And therefore, this is very important. आपको पानी लेके जाना है, जब आप खुद बकेट में लेके जाएंगे तो पता चलेगा कितनी मेहनत लगती है. Do not consider it to be a small job or a trivial job. Next. In these four pencils, the second one is looking very smart, isn't it? It's sharp. But that is the only pencil which has not been used. The other three pencils have been used. So you may find some people in your company who are looking very smart, very, very glamorous and all that, the pastry types. But you should have less respect for them. There are people, the other three, they are having stubs, but they have been used, they have made some contribution. So respect people for their intellectual content, for their contribution, not for their smartness. The second pencil looks smart, but it has not done anything. आप देख सकते हैं ना? Next. Yeah, keep making efforts. I think we are running short of time, so I won't go through the detail. Next. See, hard work alone is not sufficient. It has to be done in a smart manner. After you have, smart thinking, innovative, utilizing things, as I think it was Newton or who had made that famous thing, give me a lever and a pulley and I will move the world. That was a famous quotation from, I think, Isaac Newton, or I'm forgetting. He said that. Give me a lever and a pulley and I will move the world. So that is about smartness. So hard work and smartness have to go together. Next. Again, same thing. Your moves have to be well thought of. Application of mind, understanding what is the requirement is all part of smartness. Next. We already discussed it, the way do we small thing determines the way we do everything. They are very, very important. Next. Our destiny is not created by the shoes we wear, but by the steps we take. So you have to keep forging ahead. You may be having the best of shoes, but if you do not like jogging, then what will you do with them? Next. Again, it is part of this थोड़ी फिकर, थोड़ी कदर, कभी कभी खैर कभी. इन छोटी छोटी बातों का होता है बड़ा असर. Making small gestures of talking to your old friends. It should not happen. आप MSET में आ गए, आप इंजीनियर होने जा रहे हैं, पुराने लोगों को भूल गए. पुराने दोस्त, many of them would not have been able to make it. It's a highly competitive examination. Staying in touch with those who have helped you in your life, in your friends group, people from whom you took notes, people with whom you had some briefing, some interaction, who motivated you, who supported you. That is very important. Talking to them once in a while, taking care of their small needs, that helps in a big way. Next. So these things make ripples and it is part of life. Next. Team. Team building is very important. Together, everyone achieves more if you are part of a team. You have seen about this geese. Have you read the geese example? There is, these birds, geese are there, which, move in a sort of an aeroplane configuration. And when they are moving as a team in that aeroplane configuration, because of the flapping of wings, the resistance is reduced collectively and they are able to go farther. If they do as individuals, the resistance of the wind will be very high. It's a known concept of physics. So team building is synergy. 2 plus 2 becomes 5. One very important thing I have said about this. Close friends and staunch enemies. Having enemies is also very important. Enemies is not in the sense who is, your enemy as it is understood, but your critic. What is called the devil's advocate. How many of you have read, Tulsidas Ramcharitmanas? Anyone who has read? क्या बोला है उसमें तुलसीदास ने निंदक के बारे में? I do not know Sanskrit or I am not very conversant, but he has said in Tulsidas Ramcharitmanas that निंदक होना बहुत जरूरी है. When Ramchandji comes back with Sita and this washerman, this dhobi says, कि ये तो लेके आया, I would not have brought her, she was with this. And then he says, having critics in your life, people who are always finding fault with you, it is very important. Because these are the people from whom you will learn what is lacking in you. Your weaknesses. Abraham Lincoln, when he was the president of USA and he fought a very hard-fought election, he won. But in his cabinet, he kept a few fellows who were his staunch enemies, who were always critical of him. So his friends and well-wishers, close friends said, "Hey, क्या कर रहे हो यार? Cabinet में डाल लो. Cabinet में you are putting your bloody enemies, they will make life miserable for you." Well, that is why I have put them. I want them to make my life miserable because that will keep my cabinet on the toes. I will be performing well because they will be criticizing me. That will help me to improve my service to you. This is what Abraham Lincoln said. Next. Friends, good friends of yours, they will not be always tom-tomming. They know you, you know them, you trust them. That is important. Next. Yes, very important. We always feel comfortable in the presence of those to whom we can show our knowledge. मैं तो उनसे better हूँ. I have done engineering. This fellow has done only simple BA. No. If you want to improve in life, be in the company of those who are better than you. That is very important. If you are keeping company of those, it's good to have company of people who are your friends with whom you are frequency matches. But always be in the company which challenges you, which mocks you, where you feel inadequate. कि यार मैं ऐसा नहीं, मैं आपको अपना पर्सनल एग्जांपल बताता हूँ. When I grew up in Lucknow and I was captain of my cricket team, and I am proud to tell I have more defeats than victories. Why? I will always have my team play against a team which was stronger than me, and I will play against the team which is stronger than me, and I will lose. As a captain, I will lose. Then bloody I will be sitting with my fellows and saying, क्या गड़बड़ किया? अच्छा अच्छी टीम है, हमसे अच्छे बैट्समैन हैं, हमसे अच्छे बॉलर हैं, क्या करें? क्या करना? What should we do? And then we will, dissect in our minds कि this player, what is his flaw, what is his weakness, and again I will play with the same team. Again I will lose, but third time I will defeat him because I have understood what are their weaknesses and strengths, and we will make our strategy accordingly. So in 3 matches I will lose 2, but a third match I will win, and I will know now I have defeated them, now I have to go to a higher level. So I have to play against a team which is better than me. So that helps me to improve myself, my team players, they all are focused on that. This is something very important against what people will tell you. Look for people, be defeated in the presence of the wise than to excel against fools. Look for people who are more intelligent than you, who are more successful than you, listen to them. And that humility, that is important. Next. Respect and love. जो आपको 4 बजे भी there is a phrase in English which is called the 4 a.m. friend. What is the meaning of 4 a.m. friend? Somebody whom you can ring up at 4 a.m. and he will respond to your call of distress. He is your friend. If you can ring him up at 4 a.m. and you feel that he will listen to you, respond to whatever problem, then he is a real friend. Love people who never look at their schedule when you need them. Have some few friends, selective friends. पर उनको भी आपने, वो आपके दोस्त ऐसे नहीं बनेंगे, आपको भी उनके लिए 4 a.m. friend बनना होगा. It is reciprocal. So you should also be ready to reciprocate, to respond to your friends who have some expectation from you at some point of time. So 4 a.m. friend, love such people. Next. Amongst chickens you learn scratching, amongst eagles you learn flying. वही वाली बात है. Try to be in the company of those who are better than you. How many of you have seen Ramanan Sagar's Ramayana? And yet just raise your hands. It was, of course, maybe before you were even born. Perhaps it was in the 80s. So you may not have seen it, but some version, Telugu version, updated version of Ramayana keeps coming. There is a very beautiful scene in that serial, one of the last episodes, where, Ravan is lying on the ground. He has been defeated, vanquished. He is on the verge of dying. Ram is standing there and Lakshmana is standing. Both of them are standing there, and Lakshman is, feeling bloated and proud with chest swelling of hara diya isko, ye marne ja raha hai. And then Ram tells Lakshman, because all of you must be knowing that Ravan was a very, very, educated man, a very learned man. He was a master of the Vedas, of the scriptures. He was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. So whatever you say, but Ravan was a highly educated, very enlightened, very brilliant person. So Ram tells Lakshman, he is dying, okay. We have defeated him, it is okay. But he may contribute to your knowledge, to your wisdom. Please go and ask him for some words of wisdom. Now Ravan is lying there, this on the ground. Lakshman goes and stands near his head. He stands and near his head. What does Ravana do in that episode? He looks the other side, ignores him. Then Ram calls Lakshmana. Just you kindly revert to the previous one and another one, this one. Ram tells Lakshmana, you are going to him in the capacity of a disciple. He is your guru. First thing that you should have is humility. Instead of standing, go down on your knees, fold your hands, and don't stand near his head. Stand near his, knee down near his feet. So 3 things. Lakshmana is told to kneel down, not to stand. Fold his hands, humility. Third thing, stand, kneel down near his feet, not near his head. 3 things Rama tells him. Importance of humility. This is, I expect each one of you to have towards the faculty, towards the teacher in Malla Reddy Institute. If you want to learn, accept your ignorance. You might have passed the greatest of exam, but when you are here, you are learning from the faculty, from your teachers. They are all brilliant people. You are here to learn. You should be humble. Give them respect. Behave with discipline and decorum. And this is what it teaches also. It's not about, in the sense that humility is very important. Next. With your teachers, at some point of time, and every teacher feels happy when his students do better than him. I feel happy when my children do better than me. Every teacher takes pride, not only if the students are doing well, isn't it? But you have to be humble and you have to give respect. Next. As I already told you about the Abraham Lincoln thing, pay attention to your enemies, for they are the first to discover your mistakes. Life is a process of constant learning, improving yourself. You are seeing Amitabh Bachchan at the age of 75, he is in Kaun Banega Crorepati, he is coming in movies. He keeps rediscovering himself. Many of the film stars in Telugu movies also. Next. And the same thing. If you want to be really successful in life, you should have enemies and competitors. Friends alone will not do. You have to come out of your comfort level. That only your enemies and competitors can teach you. Nindak hona bahut jaruri hai. Next. This is happening on social media. Today on social media, all sorts of fellow self-styled intellectuals are there and they keep doing a lot of nonsense. Avoid these things. You should be very conscious about whom to avoid. Whom to avoid is very important. Particularly this obsession with social media, reading and responding. Avoid that. Next. Mentoring. I have already told you about Ravan example. Now I'll tell you about teachers and this. Why you should need I'm sure that this institute must be having some concept of mentoring. But this is very important. Having mentors, having somebody in your family, in your, friend circles, elders and all who have gone through. So having a mentor is always helpful. And these are the benefits. Next. So falling down is not always losing. Next. Now I told you about the stress and frustration level. I'll give you about this Abraham Lincoln. Just go through it and you will know how much of failure and frustrations he had in his life. In 1932, he became an unemployed youth. He was defeated in 1832. His business failed in 1833. His sweetheart, his girlfriend died in 1835, whom he wanted to marry. Had a nervous breakdown in 36. Defeated even for nomination in Congress in 43. Lost the re-nomination in 48. Not even considered. Like you are being rejected for becoming an MLA. 49. Defeated in Senate in 1844. Defeated for the post of Vice President in 1856. In 1860 he becomes president. So this is what is called resilience. He did not allow the failures and setbacks of his life to unduly influence him. He learned from them and improved himself, and he became the president. Next. So you have seen, many of you would have studied basic biology up to class 10. You know, the stage of egg, larvae, pupa, and then the butterfly. The stage of larvae and pupa is very, very stressful. It is trying to come out of a very, very stringent boundary wall. And then it comes out, it becomes a butterfly. Next. Same thing, learning the lessons in life. Next. Continuous. Life is a continuous process of learning. Next. Next. So same, don't give up ever. Next. So if you stay confined to your home, then Gumrah is a word which is meant for somebody who is, who has lost his way, who is directionless. So somebody who stays his home is not is the real directionless fellow, because he did not venture to come out of the home to find a way. Next. Usage is very important. You would have heard about the theory of Lamarckism, the use and disuse of organs. Those who have had rudimentary knowledge of zoology, evolutionary zoology. So Lamarckism is about use and disuse of organs. So whether it is your mind or your muscles, whatever you keep using, it will grow, it will develop. Next. Next. Now this is very important. The sunrise happens when almost all of us are sleeping, but that does not prevent sun from rising. It is not looking for acknowledgement and recognition. कि अरे अभी तो सब सो रहे हैं, मैं बाद में उगूंगा. Sun is coming up irrespective of the recognition or the appreciation people are giving it. It is coming on its own. It is not looking for recognition. It comes because it feels it should come up. Next. This is Lord Ganesha. I have put this because, this entire presentation which I gave is basically encapsulated in the personality of Lord Ganesh. You see, I told to you about hearing, pause, patience, silence, large ears, listen more. Keeping a pause, maintaining silence, a small mouth, talk less, big head, vision, resilience, blesses and protects. You have to have attitude. Always count your blessings. What are the good things happening to you in life? Trunk, high efficiency and adaptability. It does so many things. The trunk of an elephant is a very, very, what is called in the modern world fungible organ. Fungibility. It does many things with it. Reward for sadhana. Peacefully digest all good and big in life. So we feel that Lord Ganesha has a big stomach, but there is a purpose behind it. It is able to digest everything, good and bad, evil, blessings, everything. Desire unless under control can cause havoc. You raid the desire and keep it under control. So mouse, it's an animal which keeps moving about very fast. It has to be kept under control, like your own desires and your feelings. Next. So that is about it. Thank you so much for your patient listening. If you have any questions, you are most welcome. I am very grateful to you that I think each one of us listening to me and not sleeping. Yeah, please tell me.
Yeah.
Mike, can you be given?
Good afternoon, sir. I am Sharon. I am from CSC. We are feeling very proud to see you here, sir. And I have two questions. Yeah, am I audible? Yeah, I have two questions. The first one is, sir, as you have already said, we need to take risk. Not taking a risk is a big risk in our life. Yeah, according to me, life formula is quite opposite to what we think. When we take a risk, we expect an outcome. and when we get a outcome is completely quite opposite for it, and we get a big failure in it. In that situation, how can we overcome the consequence and the circumstances around us? What is the best technique for our youth from your personal experience?
Yeah, very good question, very pertinent, particularly for those all youngsters. See, I'll give you, Mount Everest. We know 1953 Mount Everest was scaled for the first time by Tenzing Norgay and Edmund Hillary. And who was the leader? The leader was a colonel, his name was Colonel John Hunt. So, before the 1953 expedition, he had gone number of times, and he was aging also. He was colonel, he was in his 30s and 40s. But he kept trying, and he kept failing also. Then one day he was asked, "Yaar, ye kya karte rehte ho tum? Why are you doing all this nonsense? What is so great about Mount Everest? Why do you want to climb and you go and you spend money and you keep failing?" He says, "I go there because it is there. This is a task to be done. I will do it." Ante. So that is what Colonel John Hunt said in the 1950s, and then 1953 Mount Everest was climbed for the first time. It was scaled. I gave you the example of Thomas Alva Edison, that he failed hundreds of times. Failure is what I told you, the example of this Larry Ellison, who started Oracle. He failed miserably. Number of times he failed in this, and then he made Oracle. So there is nobody in the world. I gave you the example of Abraham Lincoln. He kept failing both on the personal level and professional level. He did not give up. Every failure is a great opportunity for you to learn lessons. Analysis, clinical analysis of what went wrong in a dispassionate manner is very important. And ask people around you, both your well-wishers and your critics. Both are important. Nindak, devil's advocate. And then you will learn, you will definitely succeed. I can tell you one thing I had told that the whole world will align yourself. I gave you the example of Shah Rukh Khan from that movie Happy New Year. कि अगर किसी चीज को करना चाहते हो तो अपने दिल से करो, इतने दिल से करो कि सारी कायनात कहे कि नहीं इसका काम तो करना है. So that passion and commitment are very important, along with a happy blend of clinical analysis, objectivity and rationality. Determining the reasons for failure, and you will succeed. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है ना. You are all young people. At this age, you can afford to fail. You can afford to fail. Success may not come today. It may come after 1 year. It may come after 2 years. When I was young like you in my 20s in 1980s, we had only 3-4 professions: civil services, engineering, medical. 3 के अलावा कोई major profession ही नहीं था. Now the world is full of opportunities. Full of opportunities. There are so many different types of jobs. Wherever your passion takes you, if you do it with sincerity and commitment, you will definitely succeed.
Okay, thank you, sir. The second one is, in these days, we all are in the process of hunting for marks, but nobody was aware of skill, and nobody was going to develop their skills in this high-tech technology. So 99% of students are living for others. For example, they are studying for their parents and they are studying for their relatives. Yeah, they are expecting an appreciation from their relatives. In the process of hunting for marks, someone fails, and when they fail, they are not able to bear the situation and bear from their parents or from their relatives, and they are committing suicide. This is very, very common case, and what is the best advice you are giving for this very, very common problem?
Yeah, again, a very, very pertinent, very important question. We, as a police officer, we feel very worried about it also. I don't know, you have seen that movie of Saif Ali Khan, Salam Namaste. It's a movie which was shot in Australia. It came, आप सब लोग young है ना. In Salam Namaste, Saif Ali Khan is shown to be working as a chef, as a cook, as a chef in an Australian hotel. तो उससे, and he has become an international chef. तो उससे picture में जो when he is being interviewed by some big channel, they ask कि भाई ये आपका हमने बायोडाटा पढ़ा, तो उसके हिसाब से तो आप तो इंजीनियर बने, तो वो क्यों? बोला कि मेरा बाप चाहता था मैं इंजीनियर बनूं. बोले फिर हमने देखा कि आप आर्किटेक्ट बने। बोले वो मेरी माँ चाहती थी कि मैं आर्किटेक्ट बनूं। बोले फिर आप शेफ क्यों बने? बोले वो मैं चाहता था। You understanding? So he said I became an engineer because my father wanted me to be engineer. Then I did architecture because my mother wanted me to do that. And then I became a chef because that is what I wanted to do. You understanding? So this is, I can tell you, in the present world, today, in the 2020s, the opportunities are amazing. Tremendous opportunities. Today, engineering has become basically a springboard, a platform to do higher things. So even if many of you are not having very keen interest in engineering, engineering is one subject which teaches you very, very high level of rational thinking, logical thinking. You will not realize it till the time you complete. Once you complete this 4 years of engineering, irrespective of the subject you are, because all engineering subjects are grounded in rationality, on discursive evolution. So to that extent, it will help you. It will be very helpful in whatever you want to pursue in future. It will form a good platform, a good springboard, a good foundation for your future endeavors. Coming to marks, one of the things in the beginning I have said, you have to enjoy what you are doing. Maza aana chahiye. And that's a matter of attitude. If you start enjoying what you are doing, you will not have any issue. I told you the example of the forest. One of the IPS officer was asked he has to clean up his fecal matter, his stool, and he was not. And he was told, "Raat bhar to pet mein rakhe rahe. Whole night you had it in your stomach, and you did not really bother. It was so close to your body, in your intestine, in your rectum, everywhere. Now it has come out." I gave you the example of MF Hassan doing the painting at 4 a.m. in the night on the railway tracks. Enjoyment, whatever you are doing, do it with a sense of happiness and cheer. You may not be liking it today, but have faith in destiny, have faith in God, have faith in nature. And another thing I said about the stress and frustration tolerance level. Each one of us has to build up his resilience to failure. That is very important. Failure, I gave you the example of so many failures of Abraham Lincoln. I can tell you about myself in a very humble, modest way. I completed my intermediate or class 12 in 1980. And I had no other aspiration or ambition in my life except to become a doctor. In my very first attempt in 1980, after doing my class 12, I got through what was thus known as CPMT. I am from Lucknow. UP mein CPMT hota hai, combined pre-medical test. I got through Institute of Medical Sciences, BHU, and I also got through FMC Pune. And I was actually studying in a medical college. I was on Sky 9. Arey, first attempt, 3 mein ho gaya, top medical college mein ho gaya, I am doing MBBS. I was interviewed in 1980 on black and white TV in Lucknow ki aaj ke Medhavi Chhatr, the brilliant students. And suddenly what happened to me? While I was doing my MBBS, there is something called cadaver dissection, embalming of the body is done with formaldehyde. I didn't know I was allergic to it. So entire body of mine will develop, blisters and boils. The moment I will touch the dead body, it will start happening to me, what are called cadavers, which is an essential integral part of your MBBS course in anatomy. And whole body will start developing blisters, which I had not prepared. Then they found that I was allergic to large number of other chemicals. And I had to leave the medical college in February 81. I joined in August 80. I battled it out for 6-7 months. But when in AIMS, I showed myself in All India Institute of Medical Sciences and all that. But they said, "Sir, this is the way your body is." They gave me what are called immunosuppressants, anti-allergic medicines, but it did not work out. So after 7-8 months, I left the medical college, and you can understand how frustrated I would have been. Having gone through 3 medical colleges, studying in a medical college, I could not do it because God had some other designs for me. So I was, no doubt, I was very frustrated, very disappointed. I mean today, till today it is there in my heart that I doctor nahi ban paya. But destiny had some other things in store for me, and today I am with you. So what I am saying is, whatever, as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita also, everything is short-lived, transient, temporary. They use the word as Sat Pragnaya. You have to be what we call in English resilience, in Sanskrit or in Telugu it's called sit prajna. Irrespective of the joys and miseries of life, you should have control over your emotions. Be aware of them, but they should be under control. So this is important. This has to be cultivated consciously, and it has to be done with the help of friends. All of you are here, as I said, good friends. 4 a.m. friends are important. If you find any one of you is having some setback, some depression, other friends should, and his mentors in the engineering in this college should help him in that. And of course, ultimately it depends on the individual, how he handles these things. And that is what my presentation was about.
Thank you, sir.
Any other?
Hi sir, good morning. Good afternoon. My name is Krishna.
Yes.
I am from CSC branch. So I want to ask you 2 questions. So first వచ్చేసి మీరు ఎమ్మెల్యేస్కి అండ్ ఎంపీస్కి వర్క్ చేస్తుంటారు కదా అండర్. ఎట్ సర్టన్ పాయింట్ మీరు తప్పు చేసిన తప్పు బట్ వాళ్ళ ప్రెషర్ వల్ల మీరు చేయాల్సి వచ్చిందా మీ సర్వీస్లో? ఎమ్మెల్యేస్ ఆర్ సీఎంస్ వల్ల లైక్ మీరు డీజీపీ పొజిషన్లో ఉన్నారు కదా, వాళ్ళ ప్రెషర్ వల్ల ఏదైనా తప్పు చేసిరా మీరు? అంటే మీ సర్వీస్ని వాళ్ళు వాళ్ళ అనుకూలంగా యూజ్ చేసుకున్నారా?
What is the question? Can you speak in English?
Speak in English.
Sir? Sorry sir. Sir, I will tell you.
Oh, you wanted to know whether I succumbed and compromised. Okay. That's a very interesting question. See, I'll tell you one. There have been several instances in life. There is a movie Bazigar of Shah Rukh Khan. Have you seen movie Bazigar? Shah Rukh Khan ka? Okay. In that movie there is a scene in the beginning when this Shah Rukh Khan is ahead in that motor rally, car rally. He is far ahead of others and he is number 1. But his target is winning the love and affection of this film actress Kajol, whose father is also participating and who is the previous champion, who has been the champion for several years. Now Shah Rukh Khan knows that this fellow has been the champion earlier and now he is losing, this fellow is losing to Shah Rukh Khan. But he wants to establish friendship with him. So what he does? He slows down. He slows down and allows Kajol's father, the film actor's father, who is the object of his affection, to go ahead and win the race. Now what does this father do? Father also understands he is a better driver. He was driving the car faster than me, but out of respect for me he has done it. And after winning the race he comes and he hugs the Shah Rukh Khan. His name is Rahul or something, I don't remember. And then he makes a very beautiful dialogue. He says, कभी कभी बड़ी जीत के लिए छोटी हार भी कबूल करनी पड़ती है. इसी को बाजीगर कहते हैं. बड़ी जीत के लिए कभी कभी छोटी हार भी कबूल करनी पड़ती है. You need to win the wars in your life, and for that you may have to lose some minor battles. That is important. So there have been instances where I have been under pressure, and there is a, everybody has his own conscience and his inner mechanisms for the conscience. If there are certain things which I can do within the ambit of rules and law, yes. But certain things of principles of very important, which will set up a bad example, I can tell you in my 36 years of life, at even great cost to my own professional career, I have never done. I have never ever done anything which goes or militates against my conscience, and there have been many ones. I'll give you one example where I slightly compromised, so you know. So I was the traffic police chief in Hyderabad. Now you would have gone on Tankband Road, Nandru Tilsa Tankband Road. Now there used to be a hotel called Hotel Viceroy. Those days, now the name has changed to Marriott. So I was a traffic police chief and they wanted a gap in the median. Ante Madhyalo there is a big median and anybody who had to go to Hotel Viceroy on the tank bund, he had to go straight another 1 kilometer then take a U-turn. And then only you can go to Marriott. So the Marriott owner, whose name I will not take, was a very, very powerful man. Very powerful those days in 90s. And he wanted a small gap in the median, so that the people can turn towards the right and go to the hotel. I was a young traffic police chief and all that. I said, no, I will not give it. And I refused to give it. The whole thing was going on for 1 month and all that. So much pressure coming. Then my commissioner of police called me. I don't want to name him. He said whatever I told you. Well, this man is so powerful. And he is very close to the chief minister also. He can get you transferred out in no time. And this is a very small thing. It will be convenient. मैंने कहा नहीं वो ट्रैफिक का कंजेशन बढ़ जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा. बोला थोड़ा सा देने में क्या फर्क पड़ता है? तुमने बड़ी I had taken a major projects. I was the one who started on having compulsory pollution under control certificates. Well, you have taken this certificate. You are putting up a traffic awareness school over here. So many big projects you are taking up. If you get transferred out, you will be frustrated. You will feel disappointed. Next man may take these initiatives ahead or not. So chota sa hai kar lo. And I am admitting that I did it. So this is again something, it is a very good question you asked. In life, at times you may have to make slight compromises. But you have to keep the larger vision, the larger goal in mind. As Shahrukh Khan said, कभी-कभी बड़ी जीत के लिए छोटी हार भी कबूल करनी पड़ती है. Does it answer your question, my friend? But things which are of importance, which are close to your heart and conscience, principles of importance, no compromise.
Sir, I have another question. I want you to give any 3 suggestions who wants to become an IPS officer. I want you to give any 3 suggestions which helpful who wants to become an IPS officer in their future.
For IPS?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, I keep giving lot of, I have started going even on the videos, I am telling how to, be in the IAS or IPS, etc. And I take separate presentations or lectures for it. If your academy calls me, I'll give you a full-fledged presentation on that. But a couple of things I will tell you again, which is all covered over here. One thing is that civil services is a tapasya. It is a tapasya. For 1 year, you have to forget everything. You have to eat civil services, you have to sleep civil services, you have to drink civil services, WhatsApp, social media, girlfriends, boyfriends, friends, everything else. सबको भूल जाइए, सब भूल जाइए. अर्जुन का जब, you know that चिड़िया की आंख वाला, everybody was focusing. And then Arjun was asked, what can you see? He said he can't see anything. He can see only the eye of the fish. So for that 1 year when you are preparing for civil services, your focus is only on civil services, like Arjun's focus was there on the eye of the fish when he was aiming at it. Forget everything else. Second thing, as I mentioned, apart from hard work and commitment, smart work. I just want to know what is happening behind there. You have to work smartly because the course is so wide. It is not possible for you to cover everything. So that smartness in coverage across a broad spectrum without going into detail, that requires a lot of common sense and self-discipline. You need to know everything, you need to know something about everything, but not everything about everything. Just a little bit. You are studying freedom movement, important details should be known, but don't go into depth, because they don't want you to be having the knowledge of somebody who has done graduation or post-graduation in history. So where to stop is also very important. Because it is impossible for you to study everything about everything. So that is the second thing I will tell you. And the third thing which is also important is do not always have a backup plan or a contingency plan. Like when I was appearing in civil services, I did not leave my job. One reason was because my father had lost his job, he was very sick, so I was the only, working or earning member in the family. But second thing was, civil services is no guarantee. 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs fellows are, appearing, and hardly 700 are able to make and all that. So always have a backup plan along with civil services. Keep appearing in other exams. PSUs, probationary officers. I have seen, my personal experience is that those who work as faculty members in colleges, their success rate is very high. When I got through also, I found large number of people who were there with me, my colleagues, were actually working as teachers in, or assistant readers or assistant, assistant reader or lecturers in universities. Why? Because in a university or a institution, academic institution, you have an academic environment. You have access to a lot of, those days it was, hard books. Now you have online libraries, library, etc. So I found they have a better chance of succeeding because they are working, their own whole time is in an academic environment. They are taking classes also. They are studying their own subject, as well as they have access to libraries and students. When you are interacting with students, I am learning so much from you. कहाँ से कौन सी गोली आप मेरी तरफ मारोगे कैसे मालूम? Anybody can ask a question, so I have to keep my mind alert. So one way of keeping your mind alert and active and energetic is interaction with others. So these are the few suggestions I'll give you. I have given you. There are many more, but it will take a lot of time. Right. So I hope I am done with this. Thank you so much. It was really an honor, a privilege for me to be interacting with you. Thank you for your precious time.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, please.
I just feel so fortunate to see you.
Yes.
So my question is, I am preparing for an interview which is Services Selection Board for Defense. So just give me some tips on how to present myself in the interview.
This is a question a lot of people ask me, and when I was appearing for civil services exam for the interview, before that I appeared for many others, and by the grace of God I succeeded everywhere. I'll tell you something very, very simple, very fundamental. What is the purpose of your interview? In any competitive examination, what is the purpose of interview? Can you tell me? What is the purpose of the interview? The purpose of interview is very simple, to know you. How you are, what do you think, what type of personality you are having. That's all. Now, if you are comfortable with yourself, what is your name? आपका नाम क्या है? I'm sorry, I'm not able to hear. चलो कोई बात नहीं. See, okay. Your name is Mr. Barack Obama. Okay. So, the interview world, अभी दुनिया में लोगों के पास टाइम नहीं है व्हाट्सएप से, सोशल मीडिया से, isn't it? Everybody is so busy. Here in an interview, 4 to 5 fellows who are very intelligent, very eminent, they are willing to patiently listen to you for half an hour just to know your personality, your thinking, your thoughts, your knowledge. कौन देता है इतना टाइम? मेरे को मेरी माँ के अलावा किसने टाइम नहीं दिया इतना? Only mothers can be so patient with you. Nobody. Here in an interview, 5 people of great eminence are there to listen to you, to take what you are saying, to know what type of a personality you are. So the crux is, if you are comfortable with yourself, if you like yourself, if you are happy being Mr. Barack Obama or whatever your name is, there is no problem. In an interview, do not pose what you are not. In an interview, be your natural self and be comfortable and be happy with yourself. And your thinking should be logical, And wherever you are not able to give an answer, don't try to deceive them. Simply with humility say, sir, I don't need this much, I don't know. These are the few tips. They are there to know your personality. And if you are happy with your personality, there is no way anybody can stop. You're just trying to know who you are, what is your thinking. Have a very, again, first few slides, attitude. Positive attitude. That's it. Yeah. हो गया? I'm sorry, I have not heard any lady. I think if some ladies want to ask, they should be given some chance. Okay, yeah, please. Huh? Okay, so last question we'll take and then I think. Yeah, please.
नमस्कार।
नमस्ते।
आज की आपकी उपस्थिति एवं वाणी हमें बहुत शुभकारक और खुशी की चीज है सर। आपने बीच में एक बुक का नाम बोला था इमोशंस के बारे में, उसके बारे में मुझे और एक बार जानना चाहिए था।
Yeah, Daniel Goleman's book on emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence by Daniel?
Daniel Goleman, Daniel Golemon.
धन्यवाद महाराज।
After that, this is a path-making book. He wrote 2 books on emotional intelligence. Thereafter, many others have come. For additional material, you may read Eric Bell's book on transaction analysis, or Thomas Harris' book called I Am Okay, You Are Okay. So,
yes,
but Goleman's book, Daniel Goleman's book is considered to be the primer or the basic book on this. After that, many more. There are a lot of material available on emotional intelligence. But being women, you are all, God has endowed you with high level of emotional intelligence than compared to all male people over here. So you are already better than us.
to learn some more.
Yeah, definitely should be built upon.
धन्यवाद महाराज।
Right, thank you.
Thank you, students, for your patient cooperation. Yeah. Now there are a couple of announcements, please. All the students, you'll be breaking for the lunch and you'll be assembling back in the classes at 1:45 sharp. Now, you are going for the lunch, not a party, right? Yeah. Now, the girl students, please leave the hall first. Boys, stay back.